Hello, everybody, and welcome to the first episode of Dungeons, Drive-Ins, and Dice, an actual play podcast. The four of us together have been playing D&D and other RPG games for quite a while now, and with the beginning of a new campaign, we're playing with a newer system for the most of us. We decided to give it a go in getting all the episodes edited together and see how they would sound, and we really like the sound of it, so that's where you found yourselves. If you'd like a little bit more details on that, in-depth introduction on who we are as a table and the version of Dungeon World that the game we'll be playing, that we have sort of crafted together, please check out the setup episode. That's what it is titled, for more information. As a brief intro, TLDR for that, we are playing Dungeon World. As I've said, it is an RPG in the Powered by the Apocalypse system. We are playing in space, an entire homebrewed universe that I have created. And with that, there are some homebrewed mechanics. Homebrewed classes to make use of this, quote-unquote world that we're playing in. I will be the game master, playing alongside myself will be Dante, Lily, and Lawrence, as well as Gabe. We'll introduce their characters here in the episode in just a little bit, but they've all either had their classes kind of crafted for them or scoured from other sources online to fit this world. So, hang on for the ride. If you've played Dungeon World before, some of the rules will sort of be easiest flow for the story. We're just here to have a good time and sort of play in this Powered by the Apocalypse system. We're going to introduce a lot of this in the setup episode, so if you're interested, make sure you give that a listen, but I think it's time for us to dive on in. So, without further ado, welcome to Dungeons, Drive-Ins, and Dice, Delta Dawn. You all find yourselves aboard a massive ship. It is called the Back Atmos Star System Galactic Orbiter. The ship is immense. To give it scale, it is roughly 4 times the size of our solar system's Jupiter. 50% of the ship itself is basically metal and mechanics just to keep the ship moving. 50% of the ship is ship itself.
Wow.
The rest of the ship is the capital. It's the capital of the star system, really. Now, with still the amount of size of so 50% of it is mechanics. The other 50% is livable space. There are cities. There is farmland and forest area. They have biomes of different natural life and stuff. All sorts of shit. But you folks find yourselves in the capital city aboard the capital colony named Coranu. Imagine massive New York, Texas-sized New York. Just huge, sprawling, very immense city. Things are always bustling. And for some reason or another, you all have found yourselves signing up for the Back Atmos Star System Brokerage and Protectorate, which is an organization that has colonies all along the bubble that is the sphere of influence of your star system. It's just ever increasing. It isn't necessarily one centered around a singular sun. It's just your sphere of influence, but your colony's sphere of influence, and it's massive. It's huge. It takes up multiple suns, multiple rotating bodies of planetary bodies. And you have all signed up for this duty that the way that the signups go, it's kind of similar to almost like a military sign up. It's
technically a branch of the military, but you know that you're going to be shipped off basically to the ends of, your known universe to a station in order to do some exploration into extending that known universe and what that is. There isn't like a big speech, there isn't like a huge welcoming party. You're sort of you notice that a lot of the folks coming in and out of this building along with you are kind of a little bit seedier folks. You could guess with a lot of your decent like wisdom scores that there might, lots of like criminal activity, lots of like people looking to escape, get away from things, shifty eyes, and people looking over their shoulders. But the four of you all find yourselves aboard a ship. It's pretty large. There's about, we'll say, like 30 of you all seated in the back of this ship. And the captain of the ship, I guess, comes through as the last person gets sat and closes the gate and begins to take off and tells you folks that in a gruff, jovial voice that I will attempt down the line, but now that I'm still recovering from COVID, my voice doesn't want to do anything that I want it to do. So fair. In a gruff, jovial voice, tells you that you're heading out to the Delta Guild and Allied Partnership. But we just call it the Delta, he says. And he introduces himself as Captain Teddy Rake. And he even leans down and whispers that he's not actually a captain, but he'll be working pretty closely with a lot of you while you live aboard the Delta. And introductions begin around the ship, and I'm also not going to introduce 30 other people, but I would like you guys to introduce yourselves so that we all know like what you look like and a little bit of, about your personality.
Hi there, it's me, Slippy. I am a frog person. And Captain, really quick, I had a quick question for you. So you said we just call it the Delta, but that's 3 syllables. Why don't we just call it the Dagar? You said it's the Delta Guild and Allied Research, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, you just call it the Dagar.
You could call it that. Many people have tried to come up with other things to call it. You could also call it the Back Atmos Star System Brokerage and Protectorate Delta Guild and Allied Partnership if you really wanted to.
I mean, we could add more things in front of that. What do you call those things? Just the first letter of the things. I'm not good at naming things. My on again, off again ex-girlfriend Carissa, she always said that about me. She said I wasn't very good at naming things. Well, anyway, it's a pleasure to serve under you, Captain. Goodbye. And then I'm gonna roll a sneak check to sneak away, because I'm a thief.
Dante, introduce us to who is not Yeet. I will have to change that.
Not Yeet.
But for now, it says Yeet.
Well, although I don't remember my purpose, but I feel inclined to introduce myself anyway. My name is BBW, or you can call me Wally.
Wally.
Wally it is.
What does BBW stand for? Asks the captain.
Slippy almost opens his mouth but doesn't.
Slippy looks up.
Ribbit, and then he closes his mouth.
Big Bud Wally. That's why they call me Wally.
He nods approvingly.
Thank you. Wally is a spider-like kind of party robot. He's not super big. He's like around like maybe medium size, and he has like very slender limbs that kind of like bend all around. He's got these 2 parts of his body, and that's it, along with his head.
Is he super bright in color?
He's all metal.
Is he like a Mr. Handy from Fallout?
That's a good connection.
Like kind of like a Mr. Handy from Fallout. You said party spider robot, and I was like, party spider robot? That's like a Mr. Handy with a hat.
I like Mr. Handy. We can kind of imagine a Mr. Handy bot.
Yeah. I can just kind of like walk around anywhere, and I was once misused at a children's party, and it's kind of a blur from there.
The robot doesn't remember.
He was once misused at a children's party, and it was all a blur from there.
Somebody blurred my vision receptors, and then I just let happen what happened.
In fact, I don't remember anything that happened. I think the humans called that being drunk, but I could be wrong.
All right, Carl.
How do you get
Can't wait
drunk?
to learn about robot drunk.
Yeah,
Activating slur program.
So, hi, I'm Carl. I'm from a world of cephalopods, and I'm just out here wandering, just trying to do good government work and make sure that they know that I'm very trustworthy and be good for the government. Yep, definitely trust them and their friends.
Captain Rake puts his head in his hand and shakes his head.
And from behind him, Slippy slams his hands on the table and he goes, acronyms! That's the word!
Okay, yeah, it was. I just didn't want to encourage you. You, my friend?
Yeah, I'll introduce myself. I'll say I'm a feminine insectoid race. Think ant more than wasp. And the idea is that Cookie is a is some sort of a queen function in a eusocial humanoid insect race. Cookie has not established a colony yet. Hasn't found a spot to do that. Looking for a spot to do that. I have body length wings. They look like damselfly wings in that they do not look like they will actually allow me to fly. They're thin and a little floppy rather than like a wasp wing.
Oh, nice.
I say, hello all. My name is Grubbins, and I am a refugee on this station, and I volunteered for Delta duty, and I'm looking forward to working with you all.
And as you all are introducing yourself, and this, like I said, there's like a crowd of like 30 of you in here, all sort of going through this. Since you have left the galactic orbiter, you have been in like hyper speed. Like if you look out one of the windows or whatever, the stars are like zipping past you like they do in Star Trek.
Well, this always reminds me of Star Wars. The hit film Star Wars. The ones where they have wars with the stars.
J.J. Abrams, right?
Yeah, Carissa fucking hated that guy.
As your ship travels through hyperspace, you receive a transmission cutting off all conversation. Welcome to the Back Atmos Star System Brokerage and Protectorate, Delta Guild and Allied Partnership. Here you will find yourself on the forefront of exploration and discovery at our little coordinate on the cosmos' edge. The Guild station is outfitted with state-of-the-art technology, weapons, and defenses, making it both the most ideal and safe place to brave the depths of the unknown from. Lucky you! From food production to medical care to training from some of the best professionals in the field, Back Atmos has you covered with all that you'll need to become the best explorer out there. Each issue will you signing up to progress our understanding as a community, a culture, and
That little thing
Enjoy your time on the Delta, and
gets
think
beamed
for
directly
your
into sort of the UI over the window, like front window of the ship. And as it ends, you come out of hyperspace and find yourselves in staring down a large space station. We'll say it's about the size of a moon.
Carl sees that and just goes, "Yep, nothing suspicious here."
The whole time, like when that comes on, Captain Rake tries to he hits the glass like he's trying to hit an old TV. It seems like he's trying to fix like a static issue or whatever, and then he kind of shrugs, and them's the way with the old videos. And you folks, you find yourselves as that transmission ends, you come out of hyperspace and are overlooking the Delta Guild and Allied Partnership. In the background, there is a very large, like metallic gray planet. The AI readout on the window labels it as Vorpal B, and some other notary points say that it's an extremely dense dead planet. You get a little readout of almost like a rear view mirror at some point on the window, and it shows a dense asteroid field behind you, almost creating like a huge belt around this planet. that you and the Delta are both inside of. The ship comes low and pulls in below the Delta. You see there's a little bit of ship beneath the hangar bay that you're pulling into, and everyone loads off, and Captain Rake gives you folks a rundown, and that is that over the next few months you will all be sanctioned off into teams and given your positions among the teams, and then you will be given various trainings on how to best do that before you're given a ship and ultimately sent out. He warns that whoever your team is, who you're going to be put onto teams rather quick, because the much of residential is under construction. About 40% of the residential sector is under construction, which has created lots of issues, being that there's less places to stay. So if you are not assigned to a small residential abode, you will have to find some space in the open air markets that's been sort of turned into a makeshift shantytown, he says. It is unfortunate for the moment, but for the time being, that is just the way of it. Well, construction is occurring. As you folks kind of leave this area, you're ushered into lines, and the lines go down, and they keep putting people out into different groups. And ultimately, the four of you are put onto a team. You notice, though, that the rest of the teams have 5 people on them. As everyone is sort of ushered out, you guys are all given your roles that we are aware of, but for the listeners, BBW will be our technician, which is good. Slippy will be the stealth officer. Arl is the combat officer, and Cookie G is the cook. Captain Rake tells you that if there isn't, there could be an injury from another team in the next few months. There could be a new, influx of folks, but we'll get something figured out for you folks to have a pilot. You don't need to worry about that. For now, focus on your training, and you folks are assigned an actual residential abode in the Sector 3. It is a smaller house than most are used to, but there's a space for everyone to sort of hole up and at least rest. The ship is carved up into these sort of 3 sections, one of which is residential, 40%, like I said, of which is kind of shut down. As you even go to your abode, you may pass the area. It's just sheeted off, big, cloudy plastic sheeting to stop people from going back there. The next third, Sector 1, is going to be it's really going to closer to residential, is going to be the market and leisure area, followed by med bay, which is going to be closer to Sector 2, the tech bay, armory, science bay, and training, where you'll receive training for most of those things. Cookie might get some training in the open air markets, as the cook, can get some different kinds of training. In the center, you have this really massive plot of land and rivers. It is the food and O2 production for the entire ship. There's many species that live inside this bubble. There's a forest, there's some plains, rivers, and a lake, tons of different biomes, again, just to produce different foods and oxygen. And then the hangar bay is down pretty low, the bridge and command being in the center. You folks have a few months to do some training, and you'll notice on your character sheets there are bonds. By the time we take out on the first mission, we will need to have all of those filled in, and all of us will sit down and talk about who fills in what. One of them should be filled in with someone on the team. You can have more of them fill that in if you want. It's fine. We can make up NPCs, other NPCs that you may meet in the next X amount of time can fill those spaces as well. With that in mind, you're told you have a couple months to, again, get the training, and yes, get the training and just sort of learn the ship before you are given a ship of your own. Where do each of you kind of localize your month of, we'll say month of training to?
Wherever the tech tunnel is, baby.
the tech bay. You roll over to the tech bay on day 1. And you are faced with very, very like wide, like convention style room, lots of tables, lots of little areas, except each of these tables, there's like different experiments going on. There's various like chemical experience as well as like mechanical experiments. It seems as if like the tech bay and sci bay might share this like space, very, very huge and wide and open, but they kind of like blend in the middle a little bit. On the tech bay side, the much more like technical side, you see a floating computer face, kind of similar, I guess, to yourself if you were going closer to Mr. Handy.
Hello, computer face. Hello, computer face.
The computer face is connected to the roof by a very thin cable, and it seems to be able to expand its size and like kind of shrink it down to a portion as it fits. It goes around to different tables, and like little arms will come out of it and pick things up and do things. And as you enter, it comes and introduces itself, and it says that it's nice to meet you. You must be a new recruit. It introduces itself as Core, COR3. It is an AI that is in charge of the ship's both the ship's security and science research, and it will teach you the things that you need to know. It'll also help you get set up with a workshop. You've chosen your machines. Basically, it's going to teach you how to make those machines. And as you level up, you get access to more of those machines. Core will, again, like impart lessons, or you'll pull in lessons that we learn, across our adventures to learn those new abilities. Carl, where do you localize your thing? If you already like Cookie already has some cooking experience, if that's what we're going with, totally cool. So that means maybe you feel you could spend less of the time actually learning the cooking portion and more doing something else. Maybe you feel...
I have no intention of engaging with the training. I have my own. I've got a plan. I've got a thing I'm going to go do.
Incredible. All right.
Yeah, Carl also kind of has some things he wants to do. He knows how to use his stick.
I'm gonna say there's
Yeah,
very
all
low
the rest.
likelihood of you doing a thing with me unless you decide that the first thing you're going to do is to follow me.
Fair. I might just do a
Better do-
different
better
thing
do-
then.
No. Okay. Well, I'm
Unless
still gonna do the
do you
thing I'm gonna
seem do you
I'm,
seem
I'm being stealthy. You don't even know I'm there.
what
I
what
sure don't.
vibes-
You guys are
what
spending-
vibes do you give off, Cookie?
Just slipping around.
Do you look like a
Cookie-
fucking cop, Cookie?
I guess you
No.
all live in the same
No.
place.
No,
He's
Cookie.
not gonna follow you.
Cookie looks like pleasant. That's sort of the vibe that we're going for. Because like, while I'm still looking for a hive, I'm supposed to look appealing and non-threatening. So I'm like insect waifu sort of vibes. Yeah.
That's my fetish.
Oh no.
We found it. Uh-oh.
Insect
Uh-oh.
waifu.
Yeah. I think that's what I'm gonna go for.
If
for,
I
like,
don't get a singular ooh woo at some point from your character,
that's not the kind
it
of
doesn't
waifu.
have to be now, but I need at some point an ooh woo from your character.
We'll see. We're trying to shoot for the older sister vibe, but if we have to
Mason
go,
waifu.
For
if we're gonna have to go for the younger sister, then we'll have to. But I don't. That's not what I'm shooting for. I'd rather be respected.
It sounds like all of you might have a plan for your quote unquote month of training.
Hey, so I heard that you were trying to get a hive going, and I respect that, and I love that for you.
How did you hear that?
You introduced it yourself. I'm sorry, excuse me. I just assumed because you're a bug person and you're really hot looking right now. I'm just assuming. I'm sorry I assumed that. But anyway, I was saying I could, because you got wings, and I
Foiled
understand that.
already.
But you know what you don't have? A wingman. And that's where I can slip right on in.
Fuck yeah.
You see, I'm not emotionally available. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not interested. But what I could do is I could sort of, send some people your way, sort of butter them up for you. You know what I'm saying? You like bugs, I like bugs. We can chit chat to a lot of bugs together, I'm sure. You know, so we can become closer as workmates.
I'm gonna pull out one of my special party clappers. Be like, woo!
What that one said.
Party
Woo! I'm trying to get you some, is what I'm saying, sister.
Just taken aback by the forwardness of this conversation.
GM, I just really want to really quick.
I thought you called me Jim.
So I was like, gee, why are you calling? Okay.
No, I want
It's
to
Tomlinson.
make sure that I know how this functions before I try and do or do not utilize it.
Okay.
My alien racial ability.
Mm-hmm.
I have eggs and I have pheromones.
Correct.
In order to control someone, I need both of those things, or I just need pheromones. The wording is a little unclear.
Both of them. The pheromones only are useful on the egg.
The pheromone. Okay, it looks like I can do two different things with the pheromone.
Correct. It depends on
External
how on
or
application.
feeding it to them.
Internal
Okay.
or external application does the two different
I see,
things. As
I
long
see.
as the first
But
thing.
Either of them have to have the egg, or if
Correct.
the pheromone is applied externally.
Nope. They both
I see.
have to have the egg.
All right. Slippy, was it your name?
Right, Slippy. That's the name. Don't wear it out.
Slippy.
You couldn't. Clarissa tried.
You would not have been my first selection, but it does seem like
Thank
you
God.
could prove useful. Here's what I need you to do. I need you to make yourself useful in the bridge command wing.
You want me to just go be annoying in there? I can do that.
Annoying is not the adjective that I would pick. I'm thinking more useful, valued even.
I haven't heard that in a long time.
Yeah, aspire to bigger and better things for yourself, Slippy. I know you can do it.
Wow, it's weird. I've never heard that from Carissa.
Yeah,
I might fall for you yet, bug
we're gonna
woman.
see how positive reinforcement works on Slippy after all this, Clarissa.
It's Carissa.
Carissa, I don't care what their name was.
Still is, I assume.
There's no need for them to come between us.
I mean, yeah, they're not on the crew. We're not even.
So
doing
as
it.
as I was saying, make yourself valued in Bridge Command, but more importantly than that, keep your frog eyes peeled. Keep them moist for details.
Flippy goes, well, okay.
Moist for details.
Um,
Ew.
This is what we're doing.
I'm just trying to
Find out-
fill a bond really quick. So it's Blank and I have a con running, so that's that. I'm just trying to get us going there.
No, I'm here for it.
Oh, I
now
like
need
that. I
to-
actually
I
wasn't.
need to have a look at my bonds. That's the thing I haven't really. Especially keep an eye out for what Captain Rake is doing. What is his schedule? Who are around him? How does he function in the office environment?
Oh, damn.
And please bring that back and let me know. And if you
All
do,
right.
I'll cook something extra nice for you.
I'll use my stealth skills for good rather than evil. I assume you're good. We're saying
And
you're good.
I
Are
wink
you
in
good, bug woman?
I wink in bug, which is like a little tap of the antenna,
Wink.
which I don't know if it's gonna
bug?
come across. Yeah, the antenna tap. It's a wink.
Ribbit. And I guess I go and do that.
Yeah. That's if you're gonna bother me about that, then I'm gonna please do that
Yeah,
for
that's
me.
fine. Yeah,
So
that's fine.
yeah, you'll
Absolutely.
spend your month in bridge command.
I've already got 2 of my bonds filled out. Like, it's fine.
Love that.
I don't want to monopolize the discussion. If anyone else wants to
Yeah, I'm opening
Do
my
something
wingman
before I-
services to anyone on the team. I'm happy to get anyone some action here on the ship that we're interested in.
I have a whole series of things that I've got to do. So if someone else wants to go before I do,
Yeah, let's hear
please.
from Carl.
I don't particularly need a wingman. I appreciate the offer, but I mean,
Yeah, but you specifically don't have wings. The bird lady,
Yeah.
the bug lady had wings.
Oh man, I totally forgot my
True.
wings. That's such a good like
but also,
thing to
I-
use.
You're a wing woman. You need a wing
Yeah.
man.
like, I don't need help. I absolutely slay.
I'm emotionally
So-
unavailable as well.
I mean, that's cool.
So you're
I'm
looking
gonna
for
go.
Oh, you were telling them that. Okay, yes.
Well, goodbye. I'll be here in the room when you get back.
Where does Carl go?
See, this works out perfectly because Ka'arl has like only recently left his homeworld, convinced that his parents were right and the government is hiding something big. But both Ka'arl and I have no idea how to actually look for political secrets. So I don't know what Carl does because neither does he. I guess he
Carl.
Sounds like the bridge
Underwater.
/ command would be a decent place
You
as
look-
well.
tries
Carl,
to
you
plant
look
himself in important places.
confused.
So here's the thing. The bug woman also told me to go and hang out at the bridge. So if you want to go and hang out at the bridge and get some info with me, you're more than welcome to.
This is not
Where they keep government secrets.
a terrible
I
suggestion.
Didn't do any research.
I mean, the captain's a part of the government.
Also, Machine Man, this feels like borderline treason, what we're up to over here.
We're just keeping
How-
an eye on the captain. What do you mean?
BBW is just like fucking juggling in the corner.
Just like, I'm just sort of vibe check. How do you feel about that? My character wouldn't know, but my
I
player
do
is
not
curious.
feel.
I'm not. Feelings? Feel?
Do
You know?
want to help me expose the government?
Fair enough.
I
Is that your thing?
I was told exposure is bad for my body.
We can get you like a
You were
tarp.
told not to expose your body, BBW.
It gets
To what?
my metal skin very hot.
Yeah, bro,
You know,
we'll get you a
Talking
tarp.
about the sun, right?
I am a water-based creature. I know all about this shit. Okay, we have developed technologies to allow us to be out in the sun. Trust me, we weren't built for it. We figured all of this out. So
Feel that. I
we
also
can
am
help
amphibious.
we got some materials that'll keep you cool. I'm sure.
I could just dump water on you every once in a while if you want.
Yeah.
Looking for government secrets.
You want
We'll look for government
any
secrets,
Wait,
and as a
actually,
break-
guys, wait.
Oh,
I
hold on.
totally
Good
forgot
call.
to ask. Do you know any government secrets?
Do I know any government secrets?
That would be like really cool because you seem awesome, and so like we
Pretty
could
sure-
just like
I'm
talk
pretty sure
about them,
Carissa
and then
used
we
to work
don't
for
have
the
to.
government.
GM,
don't
does the
you know
robot know
secrets?
any government secrets?
Robot.
Uh,
If you said the robot does not. All right, it's up to the
I
robot.
know any government secrets, unfortunately.
Oh, I don't know any government secrets either. That's the whole problem. We should go find some.
I'm down to help. I'm already going to be on the bridge.
I only know secrets of my own government.
I mean, I am one to help, so I will help you in any endeavor. Can I interest you in some party favors?
Like what? What do you got?
BBW will be in the tech and science bay. It's a great space to take
No, I don't want
observation.
party favors. Please
Yeah.
maintain your post. You seem very useful in the space that you are occupying. You would do the
Thank you.
workers proud.
I am doing my best.
So Carl, do
It's a
you
good group, Slippy says. This is a
Do
good
you-
group. We got a good squad.
want to join the bridge command, or is there another spot you would like to look for secrets? While Slippy could be looking for secrets there.
If I go to the hangar, they hide secrets up high. They hide secrets down low. Maybe high-ranking people, but they hide their things somewhere, right? He
Yeah.
folds like 4 or 5 different times with his arm.
Whoa.
Carl, I sense in you the spirit of the warrior.
What do you sense in me?
I mean,
What spirit do I got?
that's really flattering.
You have the spirit
I'm
of a
working
male.
on it. Right now, I'm basically my people's equivalent of a cheerleader, but I'm convinced that this the spinning pole is a really effective weapon. So we'll find out.
All larvae appear useless before their metamorphosis.
That was useless.
I'm an insect. I don't quite comprehend emotions. I'm just sort of going for it. I suggest that you bathe yourself in the fires of trial. Join the armory or the training facility. Distinguish yourself with your many appendages and clear battle capability.
Yeah.
If you distinguish yourself, you can get in close to those in power, and those close in power know secrets. If you become the captain's personal bodyguard,
Captain's personal friend.
See,
you could truly
that was
become
my
one with the
first
secrets.
thought.
Oh.
But I wondered because the issue is the captain isn't really the top, and very few people at the top who know the big secrets are people who are out there actively kicking ass. They're more bureaucratic types. So I'm not sure how much I could work myself up the ladder via combat prowess. And this is something I've been going over myself with for quite a while, actually.
Carl. And I want to draw Carl away from the rest of the group. I want to put my arm around Carl's shoulder and then also put one of my wings around Carl's shoulder and like draw him away and have a chat. Will you let me draw you away?
I'm gonna sneak past the check.
But I'm also using my spear as a walking stick.
So
fine.
I think what we could do for a sneak, it would be instead to interfere, we'll call it an interfere roll for privacy. So to help or to hinder somebody, so you'd just be hindering the privacy, you're going to roll plus bond. So do you, you've filled out your bonds now at this point, yeah?
I've got 2 bonds, sure.
You got two bonds. Are either of those bonds related to Cookie or Kaarl?
Yeah, one of them's to Cookie.
One of them's to Cookie, then you get +1. So you roll 2d6 plus 1.
8.
8.
Do I roll anything to oppose that?
This is so
You don't know I'm doing it.
the repose to it is that he got an 8.
Okay.
So you're basically
I'm just figuring out how the mechanics work.
right.
No worries.
He's basically interfering with the privacy since we don't really have like a stealth, like a be sneaky roll. And this isn't like defying danger, but he's interfering with the privacy. So he's just trying to sneak up and listen in on this conversation. You, Cookie, notice him. You notice him. He's being stealthy. I'll say that like maybe Kaarl doesn't notice him, but you notice him like peer out. Maybe you take Kaarl around the corner and you see like Slippy's frog eye peek out around the corner as you look back.
I want to make direct eye contact with Slippy when in my noticing. I just want to like swivel my head around and just like, I think I'm gonna wink again. Actually, I think I'm gonna do the antenna bob again.
You see Slippy from the back.
Just
He's
like,
gonna do this. He's gonna do this as well. He's gonna put his hand up behind his head and he's gonna go.
It's like a we're still cool. It's all right. Like,
You know that Slippy is far enough away that if you're quiet enough, he may not. You have a little bit of privacy. He might pick up some of it, but like you have a little bit of privacy.
I'm gonna be quiet about it. I'm gonna pull Carl aside and I'm gonna say, in the hive, everyone acts to benefit the all in the way that they are best capable. You, with the spirit of the warrior, can act in this way, in this capacity to get close to power. I understand that this may not be the ultimate answer that you seek, but in this ship, the captain is the queen. And in order to usurp the ship, we must usurp the queen. Do not worry about the social aspect of usurpation, for that is my specialty. Do not worry. You shall get the secrets that you so desperately seek. Trust me. I want this for the all.
Seems legit. I'll go show them how I stab.
Okay, so you'll spend your month training in the like combat in the armory and training area.
Mm-hmm.
Carl, in the armory and training is run by a duo of people. You are introduced to a large anthropomorphic bear who introduces himself as Bear. He seems to speak in very few words, but he is a combat trainer. And with some watching as you enter the training area in the beginning, you see that it's a pretty brutal combat training session because it's done with a bear. And he is intelligently aware of his size and strength. And then there is an assistant named Shaq. She's always watching. She'll do some trainings here and there. It's much more for like very like quick hand-to-hand combat things, dexterous fighting, and she'll do some training on like ranged combat as well. Slippy, in the bridge, you get a lot more like interaction across the month with Teddy Rake, who is the taskmaster aboard the ship. And as crews come in from old missions, he'll spread out a bunch of files for them and give them a few options on next mission. Sometimes he'll just hand them a file and say, this is your next mission. And you also, another person in there is the actual captain of the ship, who is named Captain Marjorie Vernon. She is just just think like old sailor woman. She is pretty like short-tempered and weathered, but overall, seems fair. Pretty good, just not like the best charisma. That is the bridge. Cookie, where do you spend your month?
I definitely want to start my month in the food no-to production section of the ship. And I would like to forage for ingredients. I feel like I'm doing this on instinct. I feel like a lot of grubbins. And at this moment, it's Princess Grubbins.
That's Princess to you.
This is how we're gonna introduce.
That makes sense.
Ourselves.
Princess Grubbins.
We are Princess Grubbins. No Cookie. Cookie is when I thought that I was gonna be a full ass adult bug. We'll get to Cookie.
Sure. He grubs.
So I would like to forage in the O2 or in the food production facility for ingredients to make hopefully a gourmet meal. Hopefully I just get a good score on this and then I can just do it. So I would like to forage.
You will be able to cook in here too, but we're gonna like localize each person on one area. So if you want your month to be localized on food and O2 in this out area, you'll probably be learning about your localized product, right? This is going to be your easy access product that you do not know about yet. So that could be really important for you, the cook.
I suppose as far as like overall where I should spend the most of my time, I'm fine with that. There are a few other things.
We can do a couple other
that
things,
take place
but like
in a few other places, but sure, yeah. Okay. I'm good with that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're definitely going to have some more ship time. We're just going through the broad scope of things to get like NPCs introduced so that we can begin to develop, or you can like begin to put people down as bonds if you find an NPC. Your NPC can also be an NPC that someone else meets. Like Princess Grubbin is going to meet the person in O2, but that's not to say that you can't have gone to O2 and enjoyed the outside area at some point and met this person. And this person in Food and O2 is Old Lady Weathers. She's a groundskeeper. She is an extremely old cephalopod creature. It is another cephalopod-like creature, just like a slightly different. It stands up on its legs. It is aged, and her name is Old Lady Weathers. And she just moves about the food and O2 production area, just like consistently taking care of both the plant life and the animals. She seems to have some sort of like natural healing abilities for these things, so she tends to the grounds out here. Now on to a few specifics that you'd like to do during that time. One of at least Princess Grubbins is doing your forage roll to like begin learning about this space. So for you and forage, you roll plus wisdom to begin collecting ingredients.
And I would also assume that if I'm in the food production area, I would get a +1
Yes.
for bountiful
Environments flush with
ingredients.
potentially edible things. It is more than that. Pretty much everything here is edible.
All right. Well, then with a +3, I got 11.
11 on a 10 plus. Get both. So you get 1 gourmet ingredient and 3 staple ingredients. And I will say that since this is your first time here, I can make those 3 different staple ingredients. So you like really learn a lot about we're going to say that all of these are going to be plant life, as they definitely don't condone like just people coming in and killing the animals. Very delicate ecosystem.
You gotta have.
You put it in a
paperwork.
yeah.
You'll
You'll put it in an order. We'll do the slaughtering, or if you put in the right paperwork, you guys come in and do the slaughtering. But there's definitely paperwork involved if you want to do an animal. The like plant life though, like when no one's looking, you can just like trim a few things. You could also just take and eat a leaf and do whatnot. But the staple ingredients you find, we'll call it, we'll give you peppermint leaf, moon lily, love it. They grow everywhere. Everyone knows about a moon lily. Think of like dandelion. And then cabbage flower. Tiny little flowers that look like cabbages. And your gourmet.
What is the size when you say tiny?
Like those
Are they
like
like Brussels
those
sprout? Are they
like white flowers that grow fucking everywhere in the summer in places. They're like tiny, but except instead of that little white flower on top, it is a cabbage, like a tiny little cabbage.
Okay. And the gourmet ingredient?
And the gourmet ingredient is going to be, it's called meatwort. And it is so massively high in protein that it like probably like they're like a little mushroom, and it is like so massively high in protein that it can like take care of several daily doses of protein.
Give me like a flavor profile. Is it like a
meat?
Like a big umami bomb? Like what am I like I'm cooking thing, so I need to know what it tastes like.
Meatwort, it's almost overly salty. The chefs know that using meatwort, you pretty much don't also need to add salt because it tastes so salty. Meatwort does.
Okay.
Meatwort is salty. Cabbage flower tastes like cabbage. Peppermint tastes like peppermint, so I don't have to make up random shit. And moon lily.
Oh, fuck you.
And moon lily tastes like rose.
Not like peppermint.
Tastes like
not like dandelion.
Yeah, sure. We'll use dandelion since I use that as it's like what it reminds you of. Yeah. So sure, tastes like dandelion. That's actually that's great. All right, so you got some foraging done. I'll come back to what other things you want to do on the ship. Big Bud Wally, talk to me a little bit about this time you spend in the tech bay with Core, and I would say that's spending the time in the tech bay as it's super close. You also meet Lucidius, who is another human. A lot of these main NPCs are humans because it's easier. I was in a brain fog when writing the NPC list. Our human, it's another human researcher, a bit eccentric. He's seen some shit, and his name is Lucidius. He's also in the other side of the space in the Sci Bay.
I see. I enjoy looking at the wonders of all this technology. Still trying to find a purpose. feel like, I can do this, but this is cool too. I like learning about new technologies and be able to be like, oh yeah, I can do this too. I'm good at everything.
Core, I think, tries. So I think throughout that time, you pull out your party favors, here and there, as you already have with the group, sort of as a second hand for you. Core gets the idea and pitches it to you that it can teach you a lot of these abilities and these effects to do it, but you're gonna need to find a way to house that on yourself. And what better way than these fun party favors that you keep presenting? That clacky hands would be an incredible sound, I don't know, either dampener or amplifier. Your little kaleidoscope eye could be a fun one. The slinky hand, I don't know, I'm trying to come up with party favors, but failing.
Although I do enjoy using those, I'm programmed to enjoy these. I have not found a purpose for them. Repurposing these things is probably going to prove useful because I don't know what I'm doing with these.
A machine that's lost its purpose is a tough time. Core says maybe with your new crew you'll be able to find a new purpose.
One of them is a cook. The other is a fraud.
Core says that
Okay.
many folks that find themselves out here on the Delta have lost their purpose as well, but they all seem to find it eventually, or they die. So
Maybe their purpose is death.
you'll do better. And then an arm comes down from the ceiling, gets you a firm pat on the back, and goes back into the ceiling. And Core
Your purpose surely won't be death.
returns to work. In the process, of course, teaching you the abilities and spells that we have laid out on your sheet in front of you. Carl,
Stabby,
so
stabby.
you're gonna ingratiate yourself in the stabby community.
I'll try.
I like that. So I think the hardest day for Carl in going to the training is the fact that it was day one, when all of the cadets in whatever class that you're a part of have to fight both Bear and Shaq at the not at the same time, because 2 versus 1 in that would just be murder, but have to fight the two of them, one after the other. Which one of the two, you have lithe human and dexterous, or big bear and strength? Which one of the two do you think that Carl would have the most trouble with?
Probably the bear, because Carl's got dexterity out the ass, so I feel like he's gonna beat this kind of dexterous guy. But even if he's really fast, I don't know how much damage Carl can do to a bear, even if he is chipping away at it.
Yeah. Give me one hack, and actually let's make it a defy danger. That's what Bear says. Bear's whole bit, you're gonna the flow is fight, shack, and dodge, or don't get hurt by Bear, basically. So we're gonna do a defy danger roll. When you act despite an imminent threat, which is oncoming Bear, you can roll. In this case, I think it's one of the top 3, which is roll plus strength to power through it, roll plus dex to act fast and move, or roll plus con to just endure.
I want to. I'm gonna roll plus dex, and it's 2d6, right?
Correct.
In the system?
Yep, pretty much everything will be 2d6 besides our damage.
So Carl, who rolled a 3, is going to attempt to slide between the legs of the bear, but realize that because he is slimy, he doesn't slide on this specific surface very well. It just kind of does that.
We're all slippy
Like-
here.
Sometimes a slide that's wet, you shoot out of, and then sometimes it sticks to your skin. That's what happens. So he's slide, and gets tangled in himself because he's an octopus. So it's all just gelatin.
Yeah. Your slip and fall kind of happens right in the path of Bear, who kind of just bulldozes you over. So you're given a slower start than most, as you probably went up to bear, maybe in the middle of the group of students, and you needed to take a decent amount of a break. So you definitely fight Shaq last, and that actually might even go a little bit smoother, because she's fought every other person. You've had a short break, but she still, with your dexterity, is able to put you on your ass. And it might just be because of, you feel like definitely your brain kind of got rattled in that fall and like not run down by bear. So it wasn't an entirely fair fight, but the first day is pretty rough for you. And because of that abject failure, you get to mark 1 experience. Slibby, you're spending your month in and about the bridge/command station.
Yes, I'm trying to enjoy my time getting to know Captain Marjorie.
About 3 weeks into the thing, I have a request for Slippy.
What is that request?
Yes, what is it?
I need an audience with whichever captain makes the decisions, whether that is Marjorie or
Oh, that's
Rake.
gotta be Marjorie.
Yeah, Captain Rake has said and is not shy about saying that he is not a captain.
Oh, okay, cool. Well, then Captain Marjorie.
He's just captain-ish.
Yeah, Captain Teddy is not a captain.
I mean, we can see how that goes.
No, have zero interest. I mean, no interest in Teddy.
No,
Marjorie
Marjorie's what I was
is.
talking about.
Okay, cool. I need an audience with Captain Marjorie.
I'll see what I can do.
We'll say over this 3 weeks that you've spent watching the bridge, you've been keeping an eye on Captain Marjorie much closer. Roll me a spout lore after these 3 weeks, which is consult your knowledge, search your memory, roll plus intelligence. We're gonna see like what you learned in these 3 weeks.
So for me, intelligence is +1.
I've got a -1.
+1? That's a 12.
That's a 12. All right.
I'm a genius.
So what do you're just looking for, what kind of information are you looking
I
for
think
on Marjorie?
The main thing that I'm trying to do here is I'm just trying to be useful, because if you're useful, then information just kind of slips out. And I feel like that's sort of the play that Slippy's doing. He's trying to be,
Okay.
because he's neutral, he's just trying to be there, just trying to be useful.
The phrasing of spout lore is one of my least favorite moves, because it says the difference is between a total success is the GM will tell you something interesting and useful, and a partial success is the GM will tell you something interesting. The difference between those two things is very difficult to parse. So this one will kind of be a little bit more all over the place, especially when we're talking about lore. So in your time here, in the 3 weeks that you spend, you learn that the residential sector is not 40% out of commission because it is under construction. It is 40% out of commission because for the past 5 years they have not had enough power in the station to power it, to power it.
That's a big deal.
There was a huge issue. The science bay was not always where it was, which is why it is in it's in a weird blended space between science and tech. Generally, you would kind of want to keep those things away from each other in case something goes wrong with one. It doesn't cause a chain reaction to go wrong with the other. But the old science bay was in between hangar bay and what is the warp engine for the entire station. And there was a huge issue and explosion in the science bay, which ripped through much of the station. And it has shut off all access to that old science bay and the warp engine, as well as much of the power. So that's why residential doesn't
Boy,
have
I've got some secrets to tell now.
40% of its power. But since then, since that 5 years, this station hasn't moved forward, which is a long time for these stations to not have extended the reach of the star system, right? And the door to the old science bay and warp engine have been basically sealed to the general person.
Dang. Well, that's plenty of things to know.
Yeah. You totally succeeded. I don't know that
And
it's
then I
necessarily
need
about
to-
Marjorie, but I think also with that you learn her schedule and you're able to like find a decent time to ask her for an audience with your friend, and
I
she's
have
open.
an insect friend that wants to come split your ear for a second.
Yeah, I think the way that you made yourself super useful you put you in a good place with Marjorie, and she's willing
Sylvie's
to.
great at being subservient.
Yeah, that's true so far. And she's your granted audience with Marjorie Cookie. Although she feels weird when I guess it's put that way. She's just a captain.
Just a cat.
Well, then now it's time to cook something.
Okay, we're gonna
Yeah.
do your cook roll then. I don't know how much of a roll it is.
Okay. So I'm going to I have a wok, I have meat wort, and I have cabbage flour.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to pickle the cabbage flour and then stir fry the pickled cabbage flour and the meat wort. And I'm gonna just make a delicious pickled cabbage meat wort stir fry. And
This is my
I'm
wort
going-
fry. Enjoy.
I'm going to add my secret ingredient to that.
Okay.
And then, yep. And then I get to roll plus wisdom.
Yeah. For your secret ingredient use, elicits effect like the others. Sure, now we're up to 3 effects. Roll plus wisdom. So first, give me one staple and either a staple or a gourmet. So one staple is your first one for this meal.
We're gonna go. The staple's gonna be comforting.
Comforting.
Which for everybody else is anybody who eats this meal will feel more positively about you, even if they do not show it openly. And then I'm going to pick a gourmet effect
Mm-hmm.
for the meat wort, and it's going to be the thoughtful effect. And the thoughtful effect is anybody who eats this meal feels an emotion that you want them to feel.
Okay, and then your secret ingredient
And
effect, which you can keep
my-
to yourself for now if you want.
I mean, it does. I mean, at
Seems
this
like your
point, it
team's
doesn't
on
matter.
board. Yeah.
We've been pretty open about what I'm up to, so we're just going to keep doing it. My ingredient is that I can put my eggs in stuff. And when I put my eggs in stuff and then they breathe in my pheromone, they're like absolutely loyal to me for 20 minutes. Or no,
Up to 20 minutes.
minutes.
Yep.
And then afterwards they are aware of the fact that happened, which is why I picked the comforting meal effect, so that regardless, hopefully they should still
That was a pretty smart combo.
think that this is going to be okay.
To feel more
So-
positively towards you, and then thoughtful so you can force them to feel happy at least.
Yeah, no, I'm looking for loyalty.
Okay.
Loyalty is the emotion I'm looking for,
Okay.
because like all of this is a setup to an ask.
Got it. Okay. So roll plus wisdom.
Roll plus wisdom. That's a 7.
Yes. On a 7 to 9, you get all the chosen effects. Congratulations, but it introduces a complication to the party.
Yeah.
So talk to
That's-
me. You have this
I think this
food.
already introduces a complication to the party.
Well, now we have a mechanical complication. We already had a narrative complication.
What do you do with this stir fry?
I specifically time my request to dinner time. I'm a chef. This makes sense. I bring in my dish, the stir-fried meat wort and pickled cabbage flour with rice and a special sauce. And I proffer that to the captain, and we share a meal together. I think that is what the thing said.
Yeah, I think you share the meal, which I don't think your own eggs would. I think they're immediately in.
Yeah, no,
Ineffective
there's no
when you're
effect
eating
if I
them.
eat the eggs. It's just nutrition.
We're gonna say the eggs. What they do? We're gonna say they're like little boba balls. You pop them when you put them in, so that someone eating this doesn't know they would need
Oh,
to
yeah,
stay
makes
as
sense.
boba balls. Yeah,
I'm gonna
maybe like
I'm
little
just gonna
caviar
put
bits.
them. Yeah, they're little caviar bits, and they're in the stir fry.
The captain stirs it around and looks at the food as and says thank you very much, and takes a bite of the food. What you Okay, here's what happens. The captain takes a bite of the food, and you folks begin sharing this meal together. As the meal goes on, the captain becomes much more friendly towards you, becomes speaking in like full sentences and like telling you stories about their life. Yeah, I think that is both
with stories. I reciprocate with stories about my life.
I think
for
that
sure,
is
for sure.
both loyalty and feels positively about you so far.
Captain, I would like to make a gentle suggestion about the personnel assignment aboard this ship. Would that be all right?
I'm always open to suggestions.
I have been assigned the cook role aboard this ship, and I believe that is an underutilization of my abilities.
I would disagree after having eaten this amazing stir fry that you put in front of me.
This amazing stir fry is merely the fruit of my ability to forage new ingredients from the environment that I am presented. And if I'm only presented with one environment, that places a limit upon the ingredients that I can provide for this ship.
Okay.
I politely request that I be transferred to the scouting division of the Delta Dawn, so that I may be part of the boots on the ground, part of the exploratory force, and allowed to gather ingredients from the various terrains that we explore, and so that I can bring those ingredients back. I'm demonstrating my ability in foraging, and I would like to continue to demonstrate that ability and whatever culinary ability follows along with it in order to improve things for the Delta Dawn and space kind.
Base kind.
The
Writ large.
captain hits a button on their chair, and a little screen pops up to the right of them, and they cycle through some files until one comes up with your face on it, and they open it up, and they cycle through what I'm assuming little info they have. There's probably not a lot of info, especially because this is your first month on the station. She looks down and says, "It looks like you folks aren't slated for a ship for another couple months, but you seem like a gung-ho sort. Why don't we get you folks a ship a little quicker and get you folks out there? Our scouting division, as you put it, would be all of you in the teams. You're already going to be going out to all these different planets on the missions. In fact, you'll get to decide in a lot of the cases which planet you're going to. But I can expedite that a touch if you would like. Yeah, absolutely. Give me, I'm going to call it Discern Realities, but it's just going to be the roll for it. Discern Realities is closely study a situation or a person. Roll plus wisdom. This is not going to be for the 3 holds. It's just going to be to see if you notice a thing. It's going to be basically perception in this moment.
If I find the 3 holds useful, may I use them?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Sure. But I'm going to take one because there was one specifically that I am imposing this for. So roll plus wisdom.
Unfortunately, I rolled a 6.
Rolled a 6.
You need to change that dice out, my friend.
Yeah, man.
I've been doing okay up till just now.
There is not much to discern, unfortunately for you.
That's okay. I'm fully confident in my own reality, which is definitely my weakness.
Yeah.
Is that I'm convinced that things are going to work out because I've engineered it to work out.
Yeah, sure.
So
that though, I will
is
say the success of all of that and all that working together is the expedition of the getting you folks a ship. Within the next week, you are all. Yes.
I have one other thing.
Okay.
I'm going to invoke my secret ingredient ability, the absolute loyalty ability.
Okay. You're gonna do that right now on the captain?
right now on the captain because I fed the captain my secret ingredient. So like I gotta.
Okay. So you give off your pheromones and then you say
Doesn't
what?
she know after?
She does
knows-
know after, but I've given her like all of the very most like positive, loyal food things.
Okay, so you are gonna try to control her, and you're gonna try to make her do what? Like, what do you say?
No try. Definitely just going to.
Okay, you're going to. What do you?
Yeah,
What do you?
even at the detriment of their life.
What do you tell
is
her to
the
do?
Loyalty of this.
It is the loyalty, yeah.
I'm gonna say, please, don't forget me and my crewmates. When you're thinking of
Roommate Slippy.
of promotions and a betterment of situations, I would not have been able to stand before you here without the efforts of all of my crew members. Real quick, did Carl make it to the bodyguards? What did Carl achieve here?
Oh yeah. Good. No, I mean, so everyone achieved. Everyone successfully achieved like training. Carl passed training with flying colors. By the end of it, we're kind of doing some like
Okay.
starting
No, of course.
personality roles. But like everyone achieves,
Great success.
ability in their role by the time this training is done.
Excellent.
So yes, yeah.
My crew members have all distinguished themselves in their training. It would not have been possible for me to appear before you without the efforts of Slippy, and
Mhm.
I understand
Correct.
that my crewmate Carl has achieved outstanding results, and the robot I'm sure is doing good things too.
BBW.
I'm not going to.
I know what the acronym stands for, and I will not use it.
I refuse to engage.
I think it's fucking hilarious.
That's
Big Bud
excellent. for you.
Wally. As long as you folks keep your nose to the grindstone and get good work done, I'm sure that promotions will not come to pass you up.
I'm gonna like make hard eye contact, and I was like, I would like that as a promise, please.
I would like.
You want a D20 of minutes of loyalty?
I think that you make eye contact and you say, I would like that as a promise, please. And she makes eye contact with you for just a little bit.
So eye contact works.
Just a little bit too long. She like holds your eye contact with like seriousness. Enough to make you drop your gaze just for a second. Your eye drops to her plate and you see that she ate her food. However, in the corner of her plate, you can see your however many eggs, your 4 eggs, like piled neatly atop of a little piece of leaf and like slid to the side. That was the discern realities that you missed before you tried to use then the control that did not go off. This is the threat you have exposed yourself to by failing. Oh, we lost him in the middle of the explanation of his eggs. Oh
We'll never know.
He got egged so hard he had to leave.
Oh my god, lost him in the middle of the explanation.
This is the second time he got egged.
Oh my god.
Getting egged in both campaigns. Can you believe it?
Your eggs were stacked up in the corner of the plate on a piece of on one of the cabbage flowers.
I
And
know
she
you're a
says
bug
and
person,
she nods and says as long as you folks keep putting in that good work, I'll make sure that you are up for a promotion just like anyone else. And I will make sure to get that ship expedited for you. And then she winks at you.
I twitch my antenna back.
Slippy's like, is this electric in here? Oh my god.
Metagame, Princess Grubbins has registered the captain as a threat instead of a potential ally.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I guess that's the potential threat to your team. I don't know.
Expedited you right into red shirt territory.
Slippy has got his eyes on Captain Marjorie. Something
That's
about him doesn't sit
fun.
right with him.
Certainly not how I expected the bonds to sort of fall down on some of the characters.
I still haven't made any bonds. These cook bonds just do not jive.
We can
with how
also
my character is
talk
going.
if if they don't work, we can also talk about, like, you know, if you find one that's like that's nothing to do with what I'm doing, we can talk about a replacement bond. And it seems like
you can also have some of my bonds. Some of my bonds, you're involved in my bonds.
Yeah, you're in one of mine too.
Yeah, we'll talk about beforehand about like how you feel bonded to maybe your team and these NPCs, and we can create bonds around that. Because that's like after these initial bonds, when you're gonna have to like fulfill these bonds as almost a mission. So like if Slippy feels untrusting of a person, if anything happens with that situation, Slippy can resolve the bond and make it into something new. So like maybe that person proves that they can be trusted. Now Slippy can resolve the bond and has that now this person is super trustworthy. And that's the new bond.
Or if I get you laid, then I don't have a con about getting you laid running.
Sure. Yeah, exactly. So if the bonds we have, these starting 3 don't work, we can build you some new ones, which would make sense in some of these cases. However, in a week, we're gonna draw to a close here. A week's time, you are all called down to the hangar bay, and you see a ship that has recently been brought in. This thing is beat to hell. They tell you that they have brought it back from a recent failed mission. They have finally gotten to collect it. It is not a stock model, and that is why you're being given it, because they got it early. It will be repaired up to point of flying, but there are a few little bits that we'll notice as we come up. So if everyone could roll me a discern realities. So everyone roll plus wisdom. I'm just using this as a perception. The questions that I have, I'll ask, but I just want to use this in order.
3.
11.
6.
4.
Great. All right. So BBW, you are the first person to lay eyes on the ship. The ship's hull was very specifically suited to the last job it went on. That's why they collected the job. That's why they went out to do the job. The ship's hull was built to do this thing. What was that job?
I see. They were gonna go secure something that didn't turn out right. There's some containment things, some research notes and stuff that I can just kind of see.
So like containment and research.
Yes.
I like that.
Containment and research.
Only we could contain research Carissa.
Containment and research. Second question
It was Carissa.
would go to Slippy. I think Carl got the lowest. Slippy, next question.
I got a
But I
6.
have a minus
okay.
1 until
Then it would be Princess Grubbins. Princess Grubbins, something is obviously broken on the ship. The ship is banged up. It still works for the most part. They're going to need to have some things buffed out. But something on the ship is obviously like totally smashed to shit. It's going to require the most repair. What is that thing?
The shields.
The shields. The shields just like don't work. All right.
The shields
no.
are the yeah.
Oh no. The
I like-
shields just don't work.
I
Oh, no.
love that choice. Slippy, what's the first thing that someone notices when they look at this ship? You imagine that it's actually in good condition. What's the first thing they notice?
Just how sturdy the bulkheads are. The doors, hard to break those down.
Sturdy bulkheads. Okay.
Like if you were trying to like, for example, hide from something behind a bulkhead, ooh, you'd have a good time doing that.
So I imagine that goes along pretty good with containment and research.
I
Right?
hope so.
That feels like those go together. All
I
right.
hope it helps me from danger.
Carl, it has an aftermarket special function that may or may not need repairs. And it will or will not need repairs based on what you give me, basically.
radiation shielding, because it was meant for science and capture and research. So I'm thinking radiation shielding for whatever they were going after.
A secondary
Radiation shielding.
set of shielding beyond the normal, like, plasma shielding
Yeah,
to...
well, like
Yeah,
radiation shielding is usually
laser
built
shielding and then
for
radiation
the media
shielding.
system.
Right, but, like, this isn't to
At a
protect
point,
you
that
from...
feels like it falls under shielding.
Well,
You think so?
I
Wow.
think that you'll have this special radiation shielding, but because of the thing being broken, the radiation shielding is also broken. But you have it, so like with repairs to that thing, whenever we get past this little repair cycle,
That's perfect, dude.
we'll have, access to an extra protective shield.
But I
Uh,
also mean on like the interior walls as well. So individual rooms are radiation shielded. That way, if we ever need something radiated, we can put it in like a storage closet.
Okay.
Just close the
The radiation corner.
sure. I like that.
So, the
So
captain was like, "We're gonna expedite getting you a ship, but the ship we're gonna get you gonna need to get a couple
we
weeks
got
repairs."
this ship. So they're working on repairs of the ship, and you're all called into the bridge to speak with Captain Teddy. This is definitely the last bit. Captain Teddy offers you 2 missions. He does come clean and say that neither of these missions are like hyper exploratory. This is not like going to a new planet to test its like likelihood. You folks aren't of that rank yet, but we have 2 missions. We have one is it's basically a trade-off. We're trading off empty canisters for full canisters from a magma planet called Vulcan 9, or there is a supply drop-off to a metallic mining planet called Irinia Minor with high-value ores. For the magma planet, your team as a whole is paid 120 credits. For the mining drop off, you're each paid 30 credits, which does tally to the same thing, but if like one of you is rude and fucks it up, then only one of you loses, you know what I mean? Or the other way around to the group total. So it's up to you which one you want.
That better. I like that better, where we don't have any impact on the group, on individual members of the group's monetary gains. That's fine with me.
Yeah.
It could, I mean, it could, but like I
feel
set
like
it up
mine
this
is
way
probably
to
at
like,
risk.
yeah.
And
s-
one
highly at
person
risk,
who's
so I feel
been
like-
established as potentially in charge of our group, I don't trust one bit. So
So we're interested in the metallic mining planet drop
I think
off.
so. Mining drop off.
Let's do it.
All right. Cool.
mining.
We'll talk about exact details and new ship when we return.
Very nice.
sounds good.
Welcome to space.